Hello everybody, my name is Alan. On behalf of the crew, I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Bridging Heaven and Earth. You know, we say this every show, we say this every week, that there's just so much available in this show tonight that, I mean, I could talk about what's going on in the world. I could talk about, as we always do, with the dedicated to the oneness, with that experience of connectedness, with that experience of love, and how in that experience that exists for human beings and for the whole planet, for all the species on the planet and all the life forces on the planet, how we manage to trash each other and trash the planet and trash the oceans so much. It's extraordinary to me that, I mean, I was looking through the local newspaper today, and almost on every page there was some insurrection, there was some war, there was some level of antagonism between peoples of the same country, Hindus, and in India, I mean, it's astonishing what's going on there between Muslims and Hindus, and over religious areas, over churches, and it's really just got to end. And we have another show tonight where people's lives are dedicated to seeing that level of insanity can no longer exist because the level of love can get so strong. We have Joel Andrews with us, who's just been on the show before, and he's just a delightful being. He's a master musician, he's a healer, he's a harpist supreme, but more important is that he uses his harp and his music as instruments of healing that love, of healing that connectedness. He can, with the power of his love and his dedication and his connection to that, his own truth, can, through music, bring us into a vibration where we recognize the connection between us all. And when we have that connection, the level of insanity that goes on so much of the time just wouldn't exist the way it does. And then we have his life partner and another delightful friend of Bridging Heaven and Earth who's been on with Joel before, Serafina Andrews, who's a poet, she's an intuitive. And again, she uses her poetry and her vibration and her being to express the communication of that connectedness, of that love. And then we have a video of the Lessia song, All the Same Love. And really, I mean, to me, I wrote that song with Lessia. I mean, and that, in essence, is the truth of it, is that we are all the same love, and that can be experienced. And tonight, through poetry, through music, through talk, through video, hopefully we can all come into another layer of that understanding, another level of that love. So we're going to start with a meditation as we normally do at this time, but as a special treat, during the meditation, Joel's going to play his harp for us. And for his opening piece, he will play an improvisational music to create a celestial ambiance for the show, so that whenever or wherever it's seen, because obviously the show goes out all over the world, over and over again as the years pass, and his piece can be viewed as an invocation of the angels. So as we normally do, join me in a meditation, and there's an incredible opportunity for us to really experience the truth. So join me. Wow, that was beautiful, Joel. Thank you. So we're on the set with Serafina. Welcome.
Thank you. It's
That was beautiful, one.
incredible.
You hear it all the time.
I do, and tonight I feel like invoking this incredible presence of the angels of hope. I feel that hope is now our next journey, and bringing that hope into an incredible moment of seeing all of us turn into great geniuses and all our potentials just rising up to take over all the challenges that we're facing now. You know?
When in your life did you realize that you had to use your vehicle? I know you were a dancer. I know you've had a lot of different, as most of us had. When did you know that you had to just, share the love and perpetuate and open and...
Wow. Well, I think I come to a place where I think about going to a retreat with about 50 women, and it was a retreat about prosperity. And at the end of the retreat, we were supposed to all proclaim what our intentions were. And I had no idea what I was going to say. And all of a sudden out of me came, I'd like to be an emissary for peace.
Really, out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere.
Wow.
And after I proclaimed that, it was like in front of many people, something in me just opened up to another higher strength. And from that, in that year, we started traveling all over the world to do peace conferences and concerts that Joel played for healing. We went through the gates of Berlin when they opened the Berlin Wall, and went right into Poland and he played in the hospitals. And we were it was incredible what a proclamation can do when you make it sincerely. And from that point, at concerts and seminars, people come to me and they've started asking me, well, what can I do about my problem, my health, or my family? And I had no idea I was going to become a counselor, or a sensitive and an intuitive that would help oversee what was really happening in their lives through divine spirit coming through to help them. So now in my work, I step aside and I let this other incredible presence come through that wants to help us so much now on the earth, to help us.
Yeah, and you're going to read 4 poems tonight, and you're going to read 2 short ones to open up with. Right. Why don't you kind of set the stage for that a little?
Oh, okay. When we were traveling in Europe one year, we were working and touring with a very fine medium and healer. Her name was Jomanda. Her name is Jomanda. And Joel was playing for the healing concerts there. And evenings that people came, there were 5,000 people that would come to an event, and miracles were happening through the music and through Jomanda's healing service. So while we were staying in her home one night, this whole table of contents came through for, I thought, what is this? It turned out to be a whole series of poems. So as we traveled to very sacred spots, the vortexes that were very special, these poems came through. So the first poem, I have a couple I'd like to read that
That'd be wonderful.
Happened in, actually we were in, Frankfurt. And
I was going to say Biesendorf, and I didn't know whether it was a piano,
but
close. No, I knew you were somewhere. I could feel Germany.
Somehow Germany came there to us, and we were there in this old medieval church. And I had a chance through the evening while Joel was getting ready for this incredible concert that he gave, by the way, to look at inside the inner sanctums of the church and the incredible medieval paintings around the walls sort of fading away. So these 2 poems came to me. Please. And the first one, I don't know how it got named this, but it did, called Keys of Marriage.
Keys of Marriage.
So if you wish, here it comes. I see the mystic rose cross with 2 paths, crossing on the edges of togetherness. I see the mystic playing magic, wisdom on his toes. He celebrates today his marriage to the one who clouds the mind with whiteness and blinds the pulse to shorten breath as he crosses the water of petaled scent and lays his soul to the altars of sunrise. So
That's beautiful.
All of a sudden, I'm in this space where things are just turning around, and I'm starting to experience past lives in Egypt and Egyptians coming into European parts of the world. And this next poem comes. And I'm looking at my hands, and this is what happens. Frequently in my hands, I see patterns burning, deep vision, dreams turning in circular motion, changing the fragrance of roses into melting stone, capturing the majestic threads of gold sent to sing from heaven's dominion arc. Ah, I see design of ashes, rebirthing translucent colors, justifying all black to white, air to thin vapor snow, falling in my eyes and in my heart of prayers. So many things came up through that journey, and it was really special.
And when you say intuitive, how do you mean that? And you're a healer in that particular way. So why don't you kind of talk about that a little, how that came to be, and how the process works for you?
Well, I didn't ask to do this work. I just wanted to be in the Fairy for Peace. But as people started to pull through me their needs to be healed, this other higher part of me started to say, oh yes, I want to help you. And my whole heart wants to serve. I think that's the main thing that has guided me forward. The feeling of wanting to serve, and
in whatever way.
In whatever way.
Right.
But in my way, it came through opening up to this divine source that helped people when they come. I have many times we travel in Europe. I don't have any idea of how to speak with them, so I have interpreters. But I see them just change colors. They have times where they can recognize a truth that they hear that is being given to them, and they have a choice to make the decision if they're ready to really make the change in their life to go towards this incredible positive space they can be in. And then when they can see that part of themselves, miracles can happen for them.
And how do you facilitate that?
I do this through sessions individually with people, or even long distance. And they have questions, and through the questions we go into a deep, I call it a state of grace. And I'm a scribe. And I write these messages out that I'm hearing. I'm in not a trance, but a meditative state of grace. And these incredible things come through for people. I've helped people with entities, incredible difficulties they've had from past lives even, that they didn't realize, that solve all their problems with their families in this time and period. It goes on and on. I've worked with scientists and computer geniuses and all the things, all the ministers and people of different religions coming back to their center.
Wow, that's magnificent.
And it is incredible, and so I offer that as a service.
And the next two poems you're going to read, and Joel's going to play behind you, why don't you just set the stage so people can get a feel for those?
Well, this is more recent, and I've been very interested in the devas of the cosmos and how to journey to paradise. And where is paradise? How do we find it? So through the poetry, I'm finding my way. So it's almost like, for me, describing the new muses for now. And they're there for us. It's like we need to find them and express through them these beautiful, exquisite moments for our lives. So I'll read a couple of the poems then. And I'm so privileged to have Joel, my sweetheart over there, help me through putting the ancient way of bringing poetry through with music, and especially the harp. I mean, this goes back to Egyptian times.
Before that.
Even before that, of course. You're right. And it's this incredible journey through.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, so the first poem is called Angels of the Moon. with the goodness of your heart, take me through the starry skies at night. Let me ride on phantom horse, white as light, gathering stardust from hoofs of joy, to make the clouds a fire for moonlit rays. Cherubim, with the goodness of your soul, let me see the heavens of heavens, revolving mystery in the Milky Way, a galaxy of love. Let the angels of the moon guide me forth in celestial glory, with hems from bells of luminous sight, silver in the center, pure tone when touched, to change the darkness into light. Cherubim of the charted course, hold my sails high. Let my hair turn cerulean blue, to paint a smile on the large and small constellations. Let the winds take my song and harmonize what I know has delirious illusion and turn it into brilliant flames, that I might see the angels of the moon beaming pleasure into essence. So we continue on our journey, and the next poem I'd like to read is called Flames of Splendor.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Ah, 1,000 splendors blaze amidst the night and day, each one a throbbing heart aflame, reunited to the source. I ask of you, what is this truth, unmasked in light, that pulls me higher into spheres beyond the sun? What vow did I take to see my way so clearly through heaven's breath? What heaven have I entered that my mind changes to luminosity? Should I rest here in a nestling of golden twigs to hear a consort of the spheres, each note divinely spaced between one millennium and the edge of time where timelessness begins? I have journeyed far beyond my reach to seek the secrets of my heart. I have explored the worldly ways only to find great struggle. And now my heart throbs again in the splendor of the flames. The light so bright in this heavenly domain that I can see once again the way. Oh, I'm traveling in the heavens of Mercury, air vaporous and thin. And when I think, all thoughts just turn liquid white, melting into clouds. So here I am within myself, a soul contained and perfect. Splendor in the light incarnated into night. So beautiful.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was very wonderful.
Thank you. Very nice. to be able to do this for everyone on the show here.
Yeah, really. I mean, you could feel it. You could feel it going out. You know, I mean, we've talked so much on the show about that really the purpose of the show, and we talked about this when we met over recently, is just to put out the vibration of love and just have that get stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
And then, you know, whether it's the 100th Monkey or the Berlin Wall, whether it's through music, whether it's through art, whether it's through poetry, whether it's through books, or it doesn't matter. But that's really, you know, what the purpose of what you're doing are and what we're doing and everything.
Well, I just wish to encourage all the artists out there to truly look within and center themselves and bring forth their greatness, because it's the time to speak beauty and exquisite divine love through our art. And we're going to have a lot of help.
Every motion and every breath.
Everything. There's room for everyone.
Everyone. We were talking about how we want it to be inclusive in everybody. It's everybody.
It is.
Everybody.
It truly is.
So I guess what we'll do now is have Joel's second set, and for his second co-creation, you call him Joel. It sounds like Superman's father. Every time you say that, I keep looking her up. Joel. And I call him Joel from Brooklyn, so it's
still wonderful.
It's the same, right? Joel, he would like to bring through the incandescence of cosmic love from the stars. And this is the music that he's told me is to open our hearts to the spirituality of human love. So whenever Joel's ready. Wow, Joel, that was beautiful. Thank you. That was magnificent. So now we're going to show, a lot of people have requested a video. We haven't shown this video or had this song played on the show in a while. It's called All the Same Love. It's from the Lessia Bridging Heaven and Earth CD. I mean, listen to the words, hiding under separate skies. I mean, how much do we hide under separate skies in different religions and different colors? And we think that that separates us. But really, I mean, we're all the same underneath that. We're all the same love. We're all the same truth. And once we experience that, this world will be a Garden of Eden. It will be heaven on earth. So, Lessia Bridging Heaven and Earth. It's called All the Same Love. Wow, so we're on the set with Joel. That was magnificent. That was really lovely. So, where have you been going with your healing and your music? Have you been traveling all over the world like you normally do?
Oh yes, it's increased. We've been going to Europe and Canada and all over. And it seems as if people have become more sensitive to the healing power of music. Like I'll co-create a concert with these, everything I do is co-created with these higher forces, whatever you want to call them, masters, angels, or whatever. But after I play the first half of the concert, I ask people for their responses. And it's just incredible what they experience. And I have no idea of that. Some of them see colors, some of them see shapes, some of them feel vibrations in the body, some of them see light, some of them weep, because their hearts have been opened. And some of them have past life recall. It's just amazing.
Wow.
There's certain threads that run through it, but there's all the individual responses too.
And it's just what you see is like an opening happens. It's just that connection really just gets...
Because music is a universal language. There's a saying that the angels say that music is the closest we come to their language of vibration. So it's a universal carrier wave. And I want to tell you that before this show, I asked these masters to do a number on the equipment so that their message of love and peace and spiritual upliftment could be taken out on the carrier wave of the signal.
Can we do it for all the shows now?
You could.
It's just is it a one-show deal, or do we have a long-term contract?
I'd like to ask the viewing audience a question. If they had any interesting experiences, a little follow-up.
Right.
If they could write the station and tell you, because it'd be interesting to see if this signal could be used as a carrier wave for this upliftment.
Well, we actually have seen it quite a bit. I mean, when we talk about that, really the intent of the show is to put out a vibration of love.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, I know it's happening that way. I mean, see, I even feel that even if people aren't watching the show, if it's going out in New York and Philadelphia and Boston and Denver, that just the fact that music is going out.
Yes.
I mean, something is happening, something is changing, even if nobody knows how or why or in what way, that all of a sudden the Berlin Wall will fall and somebody will go, how did that happen?
Yes.
But it was that music going out over all the different shows, over your concerts, all the different people, all the points of light that are going out. I mean, we come across them all the time. I'm sure you do in your travel.
Yeah.
There's so many people just spreading that light and love now.
It's all building. It's a web of light. Well, here's an interesting feedback on what we're talking about. We went to this Masterpiece conference, Masterpiece 2001 at Stanford. And the headliner was Barbara Marx Hubbard. She started this conscious evolution movement. She started a website, a peace room, and the experts are there that you can contact. Well, she said that two things are happening there. Many people can communicate at the same time. I didn't really realize that. That's incredible. They can read the same words electronically at the same time. But she said when they have had really high speakers, people are having these ecstatic experiences, and it's because they're all connected with the electronics. I mean, this is really talking about a high destiny for the web.
We've talked about that before, about how all the connections are starting to happen. And that's why we're so excited. I don't know if I even mentioned it on the air, that basically all the shows we're in the process of setting up are going to be available. The audio portion of all the shows are going to be available on the internet.
Oh, wonderful.
So that this interview 2 weeks from now will be available to anyone all over the world 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, who has an internet hookup.
Wonderful.
Isn't that amazing? I think that's just spectacular. I mean, see, that's the new paradigm to me, rather than, making tapes and sending them out to all the cities and all that. Just have it available 24 hours a day, have it in a server somewhere.
Instant.
Instant, pretty much, yeah.
Now, there are two other things that I've been doing that are interesting. One is these individual healing tapes. I do them for people all over the world. They don't have to be present. I just need their, their name and their birth date. And I bring them through and I send them off. And I get all this amazing feedback. I've had 500 letters of testimonials, but 2 of them I'd like to share with you. A woman had her thyroid so far out she had to take 7 grains a day to keep it in balance. She heard that I had a tape for the thyroid. She lay down, she listened to it. She was totally healed.
Really? Seriously?
Totally healed.
Wow.
No remission. She went back to the doctors and they said, well, we don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. Then there was a man who came into an apartment in Berkeley, and I was on the radio, KPFA, and they were playing one of my pieces. I wasn't even in person. He came in, he was fascinated by the music. There was nobody in the apartment. He sat down. He'd had polio for 20 years. His comment was, I felt like I was taken out of my body, stroked, loved, put back in my body, and I was free of this polio pain I'd had for 20 years. No remission. And it wasn't even in person. He just heard the music.
Wow. That's amazing.
So there have been many, you know, my book is a report of 50 of the most unusual cases of healing.
What's the name of it again?
A Harp Full of Stars.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. Yeah, actually it's right over there. I don't know. Can we pull it up there?
A Harp Full of Stars. And this tells the miracles of how I got into the work. You know, I had no idea I'd ever be a clairvoyant or a clairaudient, and it just, they knew I was ready, you know, and all these miracles happened. And so it has many interesting stories, all different, the power of the music. I was kind of a pioneer to show how far you could go with music healing. So now I'm giving workshops. And on this tour that I'm on now, I'm giving a workshop for harpists. And I've given these workshops for 13 years, but for the first time, the harpists are interested in healing.
Is that right? So in other words, for
Yeah.
the other 12 years, you were doing workshops where it was only in the mastery of the harp itself,
Yeah.
not the healing aspects of it.
Right.
And people weren't interested, but now they are.
Now they are.
Wow.
Well, we'd get into the art of improvisation, but now I'm giving half of the day on healing with the harp. I think that's really interesting.
And the people are, that's really why they're coming to you, besides
Well-
your mastery on the harp, but that aspect of you is really intriguing now, much more than it ever was before.
Yeah.
Well, that's encouraging. That's the hope that Serafina was talking about.
Then my most recent release is, I've done music for the chakras. I have an individual tape for each chakra. But I was asked to make a CD of an hour going through the chakras. And that's 7 wheels of light.
And what does that do? What is the intention for that? Is that to like cleanse or harmonize all the different chakras?
Yeah, exactly. Like it cleanses them, it adjusts their speed, and it helps them connect with each other. So it's healing, it's on all levels of being. And you just...
Let me ask you this question. I mean, you know, really, you've traveled the world. I mean, you've done this a long time. What do you think it is? I mean, do you think it's the nature of the experiment here on Earth? Why there's so much feelings of separation? Why there's so much disharmony in the chakras and the, you know, why all the separation seems to be real for a lot of people?
Have you got a week? I tell you, I
let
could
me
talk
see
for
what
a
we got.
week. I could talk for...
It's a big
I'll-
subject, I know.
I'll try
We've
to,
tried 134 shows on it, but...
What's going on Earth, right?
Yeah.
Well, Edgar Casey said this is a time of division. It's a time, there are time cycles, many time cycles going way back that finish in the year 2000. You know, if you study history, you see it.
2000 or 2012?
Well,
around this time.
Around this time.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the Mayans say
Right,
it's 2012. But we've come up in of course, everything that's going on the earth, I see as for spiritual growth. That's all that's going on. It's a school. So we get that straight, that it's for our evolution spiritually. But there is this crisis now where we're having to choose which way we want to go. And of course, we have all this negativity that's tempting us. Some of the viewers, I'm sure, feel lighter. I feel lighter. Many people feel like the body is lighter. They're developing their light bodies so they can go into these higher dimensions. On this planet, we are passing into fourth and fifth dimensions. And
from the third dimension, which is what we're normally familiar with as Earth beings.
Yes.
Right.
So we're having experiences where we can do that. Some people aren't ready to do that. There is a planet, as I understand it, being made ready for those who want to stay in 3 dimensions longer. And that's okay.
Hollywood, I think they call it.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. It's not too far from here. We could...
Yeah.
Hollowwood. Actually, we were almost going to write a song last year on Hollowwood, and it was
Hollowwood.
Hollowwood. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're building your light body,
right.
if you're building your light body, you say heavy affirmations before you go through Hollywood, right?
That's right. Or LA completely, but Hollywood in particular. Okay, go on. I was being silly for a moment.
That's in general. Well, we have to keep in mind humor, otherwise we're not going to make it, right?
Right.
But this brings me to something, one of my main messages right now. We are involved in this hype, and it's true the energies are higher on the planet, there's no question about that. But the important thing is how we use these energies. And what I see is so many people are getting caught up in quantity. You have these lists, and did you finish the list today? And you can't finish the list. Everybody wants to do so much. People are frantic. It's the emphasis on quantity. How much can you do? Well, in my guidance, I'm here to say God is in no hurry. God is in no hurry.
You mean quality might have something to do with our lives?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm saying.
That's too scary.
I'm saying, I mean, that's what we need is some
absolutely.
quality.
Every moment
God needs some quality. So therefore, I mean, it used to be that when you stopped what you were doing, you just calmed down. Not anymore. You stop what you're doing and there's the energy, see? And what are you going to do with it?
You know, it's interesting because I was in a clothing store yesterday and a guy was on the phone, one of those cellular phones, talking so loud. I mean, I can usually... Nothing really disturbs me, but I almost went up to him and said, it's one of the rudest things, I mean, not the rudest thing or the worst things that's ever happened on earth, but it was like he was so oblivious to everyone else going about their business. And that's what begins to happen. We're into so much quantity and so many technological things that we forget the root, we forget the quality.
Well, what I'm here to say is, and this is guidance from the Masters, it's hard to change the outside world, but you can change your inner world. And so what we need now is people who can create this space of peace at least once a day. Meditate or whatever can get you into this deep place of peace and tell yourself you're going to keep that here throughout the day, no matter what's going on outside. Then you can be of some use here to keep things from just spinning out. There are people spinning out.
A lot of people spinning out of their body and leaving. And just spinning out and just creating havoc. Both of those.
The energy is wonderful, but we will be held accountable how we use that energy. So my appeal is once a day, get all the way down to peace and try to program yourself to keep that inside all during the day, and that will help tremendously. And then you can get into quality. See, I can't play the harp with quantity in mind. The nature of music is, if quantity was the thing, you'd play as many notes as fast as possible, right? But it isn't. It's the life of the music. I found that the music is between the notes. It's the journey from one note to the next. Well, you can't do that if you're hyped up. There's nothing worse than a nervous harpist, by the way. I know, because I used to be one.
No,
I used to be one.
Well, I mean, there's nothing worse than a nervous anything. I mean, because you're not going to be in that experience.
Yeah.
So again, we're coming to the end of the show. Amazingly enough, it's been a really spectacular show again. If anybody wants any information on Joel or Saraphina, where they're going to be, their workshops, their concerts, their books, their CDs, Alan, 805-687-2053. Again, this show is an opportunity, your life is an opportunity, as Joel's been saying, as Serafina was saying, to really know the experience of love. I mean, when you get down to it, when that quiet place exists, it's love. So please, we are all the same love. Let's experience it. Let's go into it. Let's manifest it. We love you. Good night.